From Sonic falling for Amy Rose instead of the other way around to an evil tyrannical Sonic look-alike ruling an apocalyptic dimension, here are the 9 craziest theories about Sonic 4 you didn't know. Subscribe if you're hyped for Sonic 4, because these theories will shock you. The villain is Amy Rose. In the games, Amy Rose has always been one of Sonic's greatest allies. She's the fan who's madly in love with the blue hedgehog, constantly chasing around him, just trying to win his heart. The both spirit scenes of Sonic 3 showed that she could be this amazing ally in the cinematic universe too. She has saved Sonic from several metal Sonics with one swing of her hammer. What if all of us are being fooled? What if the main villain of Sonic 3 is Amy Rose herself? Just look at the evidence. Sonic is having an extremely hard time dealing with those metal Sonics in that scene. He's struggling and overwhelmed. Then Amy shows up and defeats all of them with a single swing, which is absurd. That suggests Amy is far more powerful than Sonic himself, which is incredibly strange. In the game, Sonic has always been the stronger one, and he's definitely not the weaker one in the movie. But this can easily be explained if you see that Amy Rose is actually controlling those metal Sonics. Just think about it. What if she made them let her defeat them? What if the whole rescue was just to gain Sonic's trust? Amy could pretend to be his friend and ally, manipulating him into helping her accomplish something truly evil. Maybe she's working with King Eggman from another dimension too. Maybe she wants to steal the Chaos Emeralds, and maybe she has her own twisted plan. The perfect betrayal would be Amy using Sonic's feelings against him after he finally starts trusting her. This would be brutal and heartbreaking, and honestly, that could also give us incredible storytelling. If you catch that possibility, drop down your comments on what you think about this theory, because most people completely missed it. Dr. Eggman is still alive. How could you have expected Sonic 3 to have so many emotional scenes, but it delivered several moments that absolutely destroyed us? One of them was Eggman's sacrifice. He gave up on conquering the world to save it, finally. And more importantly, to save his best friend, Agent Stone. The spaceship Eggman completely exploded. We all thought that he was dead, gone, finished. Maybe Sonic 4 will reveal that it isn't entirely true. Remember what happened right before the explosion? Shadow used his power to teleport the ship away. We didn't see what happened after that, whether Eggman survived or not. Guess what? One of the post-credit scenes revealed that Shadow is still alive. Shadow survived. It is absolutely possible that Eggman survived too. This wouldn't be the first time. Eggman seemed to die at the end of Sonic 2 as well. Then he reveals himself to be alive in Sonic 3. The man is basically a cockroach at this point. He always comes out on top. Here's the thing. If Eggman is still alive, he probably won't even return to the film as a villain. He nearly died saving the world. He has already redeemed himself. He has shown that he actually cares about people, especially Agent Stone. It would make much more sense for Eggman to become a good guy and help Sonic defeat all the metal Sonics, especially if those robots were created by an evil Eggman from another dimension who never got his own redemption arc. Good Eggman is trying to outsmart bad Eggman. Two brilliant scientists with opposite goals are battling with their technological genius. This would be absolutely amazing to watch, and honestly, Jim Carrey playing the true version of Eggman would be comedy gold. If you want to see Dr. Eggman return in Sonic 4, drop your comments down below. Classic Sonic could come back. Even if you've never played a Sonic game, you probably know that this hedgehog has had 2 very different looks. The more famous one is where he's tall, slim, and long-legged, and another one where he's short, severe, and rounded, which we often see. These aren't just different art styles. They are actually different characters who live in different dimensions. Moby Sonic is inspired by the slim, tall version known as Modern Sonic. He appears in 3 Sonic Adventures and Sonic Generations. The shorter, chubbier version is called Classic Sonic. And he's the one who appears in old 2D games like the original Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy. As insane as it sounds, Classic Sonic could actually appear in Sonic 4. If we look at the games, Classic Sonic meets Mordred Sonic in the games Sonic Generations and Sonic Forces. Both games are time-traveling games. They're all based on different dimensions, which is exactly what we're most likely going to see in the next movie. There's even concept art from Sonic 3 showing the Hedgehog traveling to an apocalyptic dimension. The scene was cut, but the idea is still clear on the table. It would be absolutely hilarious to see 2 Sonics meeting through interdimensional travel, because Classic Sonic has a completely different personality. He doesn't really talk, he communicates through gestures and expression, and moreover, he's quite serious and focused too. That's the opposite of the movie Sonic, which loves making jokes and is invested in pop culture references every 5 seconds. Imagine modern Sonic cracking jokes while classic Sonic stares at him with silent judgment. We can even imagine them trying to work together when one won't shut up and the other one won't say a single word. That would be an amazing duo, and it would be utter chaos, and the fans would absolutely lose their minds. If you are loving this theory so far, hit that like button and drop a subscribe if you think Sonic is going to show up, because we're just getting started. Sonic's origin story. Have you ever wondered where exactly Sonic's powers come from? Why is he super fast? Why does he have those abilities? Maybe he was born with it, right? This has never been answered in the game, and it's just accepted that Sonic is the fast hedgehog because he is just Sonic, but the movies have treated this as an actual mystery from the very beginning. Sonic himself says in the first movie that he doesn't know why he is super fast. He had to flee Earth because he was being haunted on his home planet Mobius because of his own abilities. The movies are clearly setting up for the big reveal about Sonic's true origins, and that revelation could come true in Sonic 4, especially since Sonic 3 already gave us a massive hint about where Sonic might actually come from. That hint has a name: Shadow the Hedgehog. In the game, Shadow was created by Gerald Robotnik in a lab, but in the movie, Shadow fell from the sky. He came from outer space. There is a hedgehog extremely similar to Sonic who came from somewhere in space, which means that Sonic probably wasn't even born on planet Mobius either. He likely came from the same planet as Shadow. Now the real question is, which planet is exactly that? Could it be in a world of super fast hedgehogs? Maybe a civilization of beings with crazy powers? Or maybe there's an entire planet of hedgehogs out there, and Sonic 4 will finally take us on their deep dive. This would completely change everything we know about Sonic's backstory. Honestly, it's about time we got some answers. Silver the Hedgehog. Here's the thing. It's clear that Sonic 4 is going to have a story focused on alternate dimensions, and that massively increases the chances of another beloved character from the games showing up. This is going to be Silver the Hedgehog. You see, Silver is the psychic hedgehog who lived in an apocalyptic future. From there, he traveled to the past to stop Sonic, believing that he was the one responsible for all the chaos and destruction. But here's the thing. Sonic wasn't responsible. It was Silver who was tricked. His story could be slightly adapted, so he isn't from the future, but from another dimension instead. That would fit perfectly with the multiverse theme Sonic 4 seems to be building towards. Unless the movie decides that Metal Sonic and Amy Rose actually come from the future instead of another dimension, that's also possible, especially since the scene of Sonic traveling to an apocalyptic dimension was cut from Sonic 3. Details like this can easily be changed between movies. Many of the fans have already noticed the similarity between a cinematic version of Amy Rose and Silver. Amy's design in that post-project scene had a lot of Silver's energy. It's easy to imagine Silver would be showing up as Amy's partner, traveling with her to the Sonic world or time period. They could be at war, trying to prevent the apocalypse from happening. Or maybe they would happen again. They could absolutely be the ones to cause it in the first place. Either way, Silver would be an amazing addition to the cast. With his telekinetic powers coming, and his full power, they would look incredible on screen. And his serious personality would contrast perfectly with Sonic's goofy humor. Plus, fans have been begging Silver to appear in the movie since day one. Sonic 4 might actually give fans what they have been looking for. Super Knuckles is coming. Knuckles is easily one of the coolest characters in the entire Sonic franchise. He perfectly balances his serious warrior-style personality with humor and the art of these movies. His scenes in Sonic 2 and 3 were absolute gold. But there's one thing the fans are desperately trying to see, which is Knuckles using his Chaos Emeralds to become Super Knuckles. Here's the thing, this would make perfect sense. Knuckles is one of those few characters that are besides Sonic who has achieved a super form in the games. Back in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you can play him and transform using the power of neurons. In the Sonic comic books, he also reaches the transformation multiple times, and instead of turning golden like Sonic, he turns pink during his super form. This could happen in the cinematic universe easily. Everyone who has used the Master Emerald or Chaos Emerald ended up with a different color transformation. Sonic turns golden, Shadow turns a lighter shade of gold with red highlights, and Dr. Eggman's power will turn green when he uses those emeralds, so pink Super Knuckles would fit right in. And here's why it also makes sense story-wise. If the villain is Metal Sonic, then Super Sonic alone wouldn't be enough to defeat him, and if we include any roles as the villain, then it would be even more brutal. Metal Sonic can do everything Sonic can do, the same speeds, same movements, and same abilities. But Sonic can't do what Knuckles does. He doesn't have Knuckles' strength, he doesn't have his combat skills, he doesn't have the connection to the Master Emerald, and because of that, Metal Sonic wouldn't know exactly how to fight against Super Knuckles. Imagine a final battle where Super Sonic and Super Knuckles are fighting side by side against an army of Metal Sonics. Pink and gold energies are flowing everywhere, which is pure chaos. That would make the most sense visually with the stunning scenes in the entire franchise, and honestly, Knuckles deserves his moments to shine as a true powerhouse. If this theory just blew your mind, drop your comment on what you think will happen in the next movie. And make sure you are subscribed, because the next theories get even crazier. Sonic falls in love with Amy. We know that the Sonic movies adapt many different things from games beautifully, but some aspects are completely different, like Sonic's personality. In the movies, he is more childish, energetic, and obsessed with pop culture references. Here's something friends have noticed. In Sonic 4, it would make way more sense for Sonic to fall in love with Amy Rose, rather than Amy chasing after him like in the video games. In most Sonic media, Amy is madly in love with Sonic. She chases him, she dreams about marrying him, and Sonic usually runs away because he's just not interested in her. The cinematic version of Amy Rose seems completely different. Based on what we saw in Sonic 3's post-credits scene, she is confident, powerful, and independent. She doesn't need any saving, she does the saving herself. She is somewhat similar to how Sonic acts in the game. Brave, capable, strong, and just badass. Movie Sonic, on the other hand, is slightly goofy, has an innocent personality, and is just for jokes. He's never really met a female hedgehog before. He has been alone on Earth for years with only Tom and Maddie as parental figures. What happens when this lonely, goofy hedgehog meets a beautiful, confident, powerful, and female hedgehog who just saved his life? He's going to be completely blown away and starstruck. It would be absolutely hilarious if Sonic ended up falling in love. While Amy was just focused on doing her missions of fighting Metal Sonics, imagine Sonic trying to impress her with his speed and cool moves, but she's not even paying attention because she's just too busy destroying robots. This could be the beginning of a really cute romance between them. Unless Amy Rose is evil, like we theorized earlier, because then she would take advantage of Sonic's speed and manipulate him to betray him. Either way, it's the Sonic or Amy dynamic. I'm not sure if the dynamic in the movie is going to be different from what fans expected, but honestly, that's quite exciting. Rouge the Bat is coming. Sonic 4 might also be the movie that brings the most game characters into the cinematic universe. Besides Amy Rose and Metal Sonic, there's another character that we would like to see, and this is something that you might have never even expected. We're talking about Rouge the Bat. She is a professional treasure thief, a government spy, and one of Sonic and Shadow's closest allies. She becomes his partner in multiple games, including Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes. Shadow already had a ton of focus in Sonic 3. He got his backstory, emotional arc, and redemption. Now it's time to meet his partner, which just makes sense as Amy will meet Sonic. Rouge might not have a huge amount of screen time in Sonic 4, but her appearance could help build the hype for a possible spin-off series. Think about it, Knuckles got his own series on Paramount+, and it was quite successful. People absolutely loved it, so why can't Shadow get his own series too? Because he is even more loved than Knuckles by most people. A cyber series could explore his life after Sonic 3. What does he do? Where does he go? Does he work for the government? Or does he go rogue? Rouge could be introduced in Sonic 4 as a tease for that series. Maybe she recruits Shadow. Maybe she recruits Shadow for a mission. Maybe she is hunting for Master Emerald and turns into Knuckles. She is one of the most popular characters in the franchise, and fans have been asking her to appear since the first movie. Sonic 4 is the perfect movie to finally bring her into the cinematic universe. Moreover, her rivalry with Knuckles is going to be golden. Imagine those two bickering about Master Emeralds, while Sonic and Amy are dealing with Metal Sonic in the background. Their dynamic could be perfect and beautiful. King Sonic rules. This is the wildest story of them all, and honestly, it might actually happen. The main villain of Sonic 4 is clearly going to be Metal Sonic, or rather, an entire army of Metal Sonics. The post-credit scenes showed multiple Metal Sonics appearing out of nowhere. The most accepted theory is that they either are controlled by amiibos, or they come from a completely different dimension. There is even concept art from Sonic 3, showing Sonic traveling to an apocalyptic version of Earth. Everything has been taken over by Metal Sonics. In the dimension, Dr. Eggman was never redeemed. He became King Eggman, the ruler of a destroyed world. The scene was cut from the movie and replaced with the post-credit sequence, but the idea is still clearly alive. Maybe the director chose to save the interdimensional journey for Sonic 3? But here's the truth. What if Eggman doesn't appear at all? Jim Carrey has indicated multiple times that he might retire from acting if he doesn't want to be done with Sonic 4. The filmmakers need a replacement villain to rule the apocalyptic dimension. This is the impact Jim Carrey had on the movie. There's another option that could be absolutely terrifying, which is King Sonic. This would be an evil version of our Blue Hedgehog, a tyrannical Sonic who conquered the world and commands an entire army of robots that are identical to himself. Imagine Sonic facing a darker, more twisted version of himself. A twisted version who chose power over friendship. A version that would become everything that Sonic is afraid of becoming. King Sonic could look like our Sonic, but with a darker color palette, maybe black and red instead of blue. Maybe with glowing red eyes, battle scars, and armor. He wouldn't move like Sonic, talk like Sonic, or fight like Sonic, but he would be much stronger and purely evil. That would be damn genuinely terrifying to watch. I mean, it would force Sonic to confront his own potential for darkness. What if Sonic had made two different choices? What if he had never met Tom and Maddie? What if he let his anger and loneliness consume him? King Sonic could be the answer to all those questions, and the final battle between Gold Sonic and Evil Sonic would be absolutely legendary. Super Sonic versus Dark King Sonic, light versus darkness. That would be the most epic climax in the entire movie franchise. So, which theory surprised you the most? Drop your wildest Sonic 4 prediction in the comments right now. Tell me which story you think is actually going to happen. If you want more crazy Sonic content, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss when we drop the next video.